so we'll call to order this meeting of the Conservation Commission at 6:30 p.m. On October 10th, 2023. All of our commissioners are currently present. So first on the agenda is approval of meeting minutes, September 26th, 2023.
I will make a motion to approve meeting minutes from September 26, 2023.
I'll second that. I did want to mention though, I think on the 340 Leiden Road project, I think it might be useful to look back in the future if we could put in sort of the line of reasoning a little more clearly as to why some of the issues with the redevelopment, I think it was on the project from before, but looked good other than that to me.
So
it seemed like we followed the chain of sections in the act and got to one particular clause where there was some mismatch, and I just think putting that in there would be pretty useful.
I also thought about including a comment on the fact that the ORAD didn't lock in the boundaries of Riverfront or BLSF, but I think that was before we had DEP comment letter, so maybe it's too soon to state that.
Did we say that in the meeting?
I can't remember.
I think we did talk about which resources were confirmed.
Because in this it just says wetland. The ORAD, where is it? The ORAD had confirmed the boundaries of the wetlands.
Which is true. It did confirm the boundaries of the wetlands.
It did. So I don't know. I thought about that. I put a comment in and then I deleted it because I was like, I don't know.
I guess by not saying riverfront area, it's saying by omission that it did not confirm the boundaries of the riverfront area. Any other discussion on the meeting minutes?
Yeah, I had a comment on the first meeting, or the first hearing. I can't remember about the RDA. Did we talk about sidewalk length or width? I can't remember.
I thought I asked a question about width, and increasing the footprint, but
That's what I thought it was too, but I honestly don't remember.
I think that sounds right. With
yeah, that's what I remember too.
Yeah. So maybe we'll approve the minutes tentatively with the change to width, and maybe I don't know. Maybe Mitch, could you like find that in the audio just to make sure?
Yeah, I'll double check.
Okay. All right. Anything else on the minutes? All right. Not hearing anything else. So since we are remote, we have to do roll call votes on everything. So we'll vote on approving the minutes. Erica?
aye.
Kristen?
Aye.
Fletcher? Fletcher, you're muted, just so you know.
Aye.
Okay. All right. And I'm also an aye. So the minutes are accepted with the minor change from September 26th, 2023. All right, so next on our agenda, we have two public hearings and one public meeting tonight. Public hearing, notice of intent, bank stabilization at the Green River swimming area, map 27, lot 18, DEP file number 168356, continued from 9/26/2023. Mitch, is that one, did they ask to continue again?
I haven't heard any updates on that one.
Okay.
I don't think anyone here is here for that. Yeah, it doesn't
It
seem like it.
sounded, yeah, I mean, it sounds like they've been continuing waiting to hear from Natural Heritage, right?
Right.
And yeah, they just keep asking for continuances. Okay. Um, well, I'll make a motion to continue that to our next meeting, October 24th.
Second,
Right. We'll vote on that continuance. Kristen,
Abstain.
Erica,
aye.
Fletcher.
Aye.
All right, and I'm also an aye, so we'll pick that one up at our next meeting. Okay, so then we have public hearing, notice of intent, solar project at 340 Leiden Road, map R29, lot 4, DEP file number 1680357, continued from September 26, 2023.
They requested a continuance as well. They're responding to DEP and testing soil.
Okay, well, I'll motion to continue that one to October 24th.
I'll second that again.
All right, we'll vote on that. Kristen,
Aye.
Erica,
Aye.
Fletcher.
Aye.
All right, and I am an aye on that one as well. So 2 public hearings continue to our next meeting. All right, speeding along. So next we have public meeting, extension request for order of conditions, solar array installation at 1417 Bernardston Road, map R10, lot 9, DEP file number 1680329. And I'll just read the description from our agenda real quick. The solar array project was amended in 2022 to remove the limited amounts of solar arrays and associated electrical equipment in Greenfield. The interconnection facilities and driveway facilities proposed in 2019 were not affected by the amended plans other than removing 2 road turnoffs. Part of the upland area outside the buffer zone was approved to be used as a temporary construction laydown yard. An extension has been requested for the final stages of the project, which includes utility pole installation and restabilization. And do we have someone here for that project? I don't know if anyone has to be, but if someone is. Okay. Doesn't sound like it.
Sorry, I don't know
Oh.
if anyone can hear me. This is
Yep,
Chris
I can hear
Whitman
you.
with Pacifico Energy. Okay. Yeah. Hi. I'm on and I can answer any questions. I did a site walk with Mitch as well a week or 2 ago.
Yep. And do we have site visit photos we could look at?
Yeah, I have some photos. I'll pull them up. Okay, so this is the access road. I think you can help me out, Chris, but some of these poles were they mark where the utility poles were going.
That's right. Yeah, I'm trying to get into the Zoom part, but yeah,
Oh, okay.
if there were the stakes along the driveway there, then they're marking where the utility poles were going.
Yeah, the stakes. This is one of the culverts there.
We went out on a wet day, so it's
Mhm.
you guys are getting to see the stormwater, obviously.
And is looking towards, I think, the stream. There's the pond back there.
That's
was
the
looking
pond by
from the
house
road.
that was pre-existing.
This is the laydown area. And I just took a picture of this culvert. There's a violation, but it seems like it's a separate issue that was it was before this notice of intent. I think that's everything.
Okay.
Yeah, I think a lot of this is maybe exempt just because it's planting natives and like the utility pole work, but I wasn't sure if all of it was. So figured might be safe just to maybe extend it or at least go over it. This is the last meeting before it expires.
Mm.
So this is for a new solar project?
Right. It got amended so that all the solar work is on the other side of the boundary. And this is more just for the access and the laydown area.
So why would it be exempt?
Just the work that's left. And they said there's just mostly just stabilization and the utility poles.
Outside of
I can give you a quick update. So if you continue, so the road that we were looking at is mostly a driveway that served the houses and the back field area, which we basically widened. There was one area where we did a curve around, and then the big areas sort of one of the big pictures was the backyard. Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. The backyard was converted into the laydown area. So at this point, we're actually done putting in the posts and the racks in most of fields 1 and 2 on the Bernardston side. And so the only thing that has to be done on the Greenfield side is the utility has to put in their poles near the main highway. And then we have to dig underground trenching to link up to their poles. And then the other work after that obviously is just final cleanup. So we'll turn the laydown yard back into a backyard by planting grass. And then we'll do cleanup on the roadway and final remediation along the road. But the plantings won't happen until the spring, obviously.
So in terms of Greenfield jurisdiction, the road is new or was that existing?
So the road was existing except for, I don't know if you can see the old, there's a bit of there's a new turnout to the laydown yard. And then right next to that, just to the right, yeah, whoever has the cursor is showing it. And then just to the right of that there's a little loop around where the road went through a low area, closer to the wetland. So there's a new section of road, which I think is like 150 or 200 feet long, which has already been constructed by now, which bumped out from the existing road. But most of the road, if it was, I don't know, 800 feet, I'm making up the distances, but if it was 800 feet, we used the vast majority of it, we used the existing road and just widened it a couple feet, except that bump out area and turnout area that we just discussed.
So the poles that are in Greenfield because of the access road, even though none of the solar panels are here.
Correct, because that's realistically that's the easiest way and realistically the only way to run the power from the field to where the poles are out on the street.
Yeah, and so I guess tonight we just have to decide whether to allow them an extension on the order of conditions to have more time to finish the project. So it seems as long as there's not as long as everything's going to plan, I don't have an issue with, an extension.
I agree, but what was that you said, Mitch, about an enforcement? I guess I'm confused about what's exempt and what's the enforcement.
Yeah, so it was, I think, when they did the site visit for this notice of intent, I think the agent found an issue with one of the culverts. I think if it got approved anyway, then it seems like a separate issue.
You mean in Bernardston or?
No, I think it's on our side.
Yeah, I think Mitch, you're talking about the one that's like 20 feet south of the town line, right? The one you looked at.
Yeah, that's it.
So same applicant, same project, but prior to the
Yeah, I mean, it
notice of
existed.
intent approval.
The problem existed prior to this project. It's not like
Oh,
it's
I see.
because of this
With the
project.
road, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And on that note, like, it looked like part of the road was submerged in the pictures.
That car in the background.
Yeah, that's where we did the turnout. So that's the part of the road that we built around. So we were talking to the construction guy on site. He said some people had been driving through there when they weren't supposed to be, which made it muddy. They were using the old existing driveway because the silt fence there, it's pooling water. And so they're not, that's why they had the car actually parked there, is they actually started parking a trailer and a car in front of there so that none of the construction vehicles can accidentally use the old section of the driveway. And the water ponding is just due to the silt fence.
Got it. Well, I mean, as long as that enforcement order is a separate issue, I also don't see any impediments to extending it.
Do we have a form requesting an extension?
No, there isn't a form for that.
Okay, because I was looking online and I found one in another town where somebody submitted WPA Form 7 extension permit for orders of conditions.
From what I saw, you just request it.
Are we looking for a motion?
Sure.
I'll motion to agree to an extension for a request for 1417 Bernardston Road, extension of the orders of conditions. That was really poorly worded, but
I think we know what you mean.
you can clean it up, Mitch.
I'll second that.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion for the extension that was seconded. One thing to discuss is how long the extension is. I think it can be up to 3 years.
I have
So I'm
another
not
question
sure.
too, just about like the COVID tolling extension. This doesn't qualify because it was. What does this qualify for the tolling extension?
I added the 400 whatever days to
Oh,
all the projects. So this is with that if it applies.
gotcha. Okay, thanks.
Did the applicant have a specified length of time to request for extension, or?
I might ask for a year. I mean, if it's all, like I said, we'll be done in the construction work will be done. I think we're projecting by the end of December, but replanting and final grading probably won't be done until May, June, somewhere in that time frame. So I think for me, it might just be safe to do a year in case there's anything you would consider to be under the order of conditions that's part of that final stabilization work.
Is there any wetland replication in the Greenfield side that would require 2 years? Okay.
Not on the Greenfield side. There is a wetland replication, but it's solely on the Bernardston side.
Okay, so on the Greenfield side for the plantings, there's no post-installation monitoring and reporting requirement. It's not in a resource area.
To the best of my knowledge, yeah. Yes, I'm pretty sure. We're not doing any planning in resource areas to the best of my knowledge.
And I'll just add, I remember when we did the amendment for this one, and essentially they amended it to take everything out of, I mean, almost entirely out of buffer zone, even in Greenfield, other than the road. And then even the area where they're like storing things is mostly outside of buffer zone too, I think. So I think when it got amended, it really removed most of that. So I guess I would amend the motion to say a 1 year extension if there are no objections to that. Okay, any other discussion before we vote on that? Okay, so we'll vote on the motion to allow an extension of the order of conditions for 1 year from the date that it was going to expire. And so we'll vote on that. Erica,
Aye.
Kristen,
Aye.
Fletcher.
Aye.
All right, and I am also an aye. So you have your 1 year extension.
Great. Thank you all very much. And then Mitch, will it just be meeting minutes as our record of confirmation?
I think there is a form that I give you.
Okay. Okay. Well, if there's anything you need from us in the interim,
Okay.
just let us
Let you
know.
know.
But otherwise, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Form 7.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. So that's all for our public meetings and hearings. On the agenda under other business and enforcement updates, we have a request for certificate of compliance, 739 Bernardston Road, TEP file number 1680336. I believe Rachel is here for that project.
I'm here with Jess Schorndorf also helping with the project.
All right. Did you want to kind of give us an update on how the project has finished all of the conditions?
Yeah, thanks. And thanks to Mitch for coming out and meeting Jess and myself on site last week to walk the site and look at how things are coming in. We're really proud of the project and how it's come out and how it will continue to develop over time. The center school as a school, and some of you were on the original approval and review, has this amazing integrated outdoor curriculum. The pre-K students rarely are even inside. They're outside constantly learning and immersed in the woods and what's around them. So it's really exciting. And they've integrated stewardship and maintenance as part of the curriculum too. So the teacher picks a theme and students of all ages are learning about and implementing. So for example, they're keeping last spring, they were looking at the jumping worms and trying to see if they had sight. This fall, they're looking at invasive species and they're focusing on barberry. So they're going around and trying to get rid of all the barberry, but it's like kids learning, kids testing, all that. So I think with the ethos of the school too is trying to be progressive with in response to sustainability issues and climate change and habitat. So it's a beautiful place. It's very peaceful, and it's got a lot of really great things going on. So as far as the notice of intent, stormwater systems have stabilized the design. They've been stable for some time. We've held off on this closeout of the permit because about every year the school has a new question, a new thing they want to do, and so we hold and we wait to see what that is, and see what the pricing of that might be before knowing if we needed to try to get an amendment or whatnot. But I think we're at a point now, it's been 3 years, where things are stable, they look good. It seems like a good point to close out the permit. So we've been doing monitoring reports for both the stormwater and the replication area. The replication area is really successful. I think the comments came from this commission, actually, a critique of our design. Our replication area was kind of like a bathtub approach originally with grading. It was just a low point to receive water coming in. And the feedback from the commission is that actually location areas like that haven't really been that successful, and that we should introduce more lumps and humps into the system, which we did. And what we're seeing is a really just a thriving wetland replication area. So that's been great to see. The biggest part of that too is that during construction, I think some of you may have remembered the contractor added some extra riprap. They were trying to help the low level spreader, so then it channelized the flow. So then we put another log down to create another level spreader, and that's been the longest time to get that established because of, you know, big rainstorms and stuff would wash that out. But that is stable now. It's pretty dense and lush in there, so we're in good shape. And then the tree planting, you know, we were required to plant replacement trees as part of the permit. And the school, again, we did initial, I think it was like 44 trees. We did it initially in phase 1. And then the school planted the remaining 144 trees with the students and families. We had a volunteer day, and we had the contractor go out and dig the holes, pre-dig the holes, and we had a tree planting instruction session. And then kids of all ages and parents and families were out digging the trees and watering the trees. And I think we only lost 5 trees of the 144, which is pretty amazing. And then on the south side of the property, to the south of the soccer field, we've had, I think, over 50 little aspen saplings and white pine come in. So those few trees that were lost in that session have more than been allowed to, you know, start successional forest. So we're excited about that too.
Great. Mitch, do you want to share photos from the site visit? Then we could kind of talk through those, and then we can look at conditions and things like that we want to do.
Here's just the sign still up.
That's good.
And here's the road with the swales on the sides. Was this the one that was for the salamander crossing?
That's the drainage of the salamander.
Oh, okay.
It's right next to
Yeah.
it. Yeah. Yeah, that's the salamander crossing. And they said they've seen salamanders out there, some spotted salamanders. And they've got a lot of red Fs on site too. They've had turtles in the rain garden, and a resident bear that likes to go through the wildlife crossing.
Is this the wetland?
This is the
Mm.
replication area.
Yeah.
So that's all, you know, all grown in.
This is the replication area as well.
It's the view looking towards the woods. So the school's behind us.
And that was the riprap that was mistakenly put down there.
Yeah. Next day, yeah. We saw a lot of turtle head. We had a lot of turtle head showing up, and New England aster and carex.
I'm assuming there's reporting on the post wetland replication establishment and success.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the report right now, but it's really long, so.
Yeah, we submitted logs. We pre-formatted all the logs, and so we submitted all the logs for the 3 years.
And you said there's definitely over 75% hydrophytic vegetation success
Oh, yeah. It's like
and
95.
hydric soils and hydrology.
This is all pollinator, right? Habitat.
Yeah, it's well, the up above the top is an existing meadow that was preserved. And then that side slope was cut to make room for the school, and that was planted with pollinators. It does have goldenrod and aster. I think we had hoped that there would be more, but budget-wise, this is more of a long-term pollinator habitat project for the school, so there will be more over time. That's the soccer field, and they're not using fertilizer or anything. They actually, we had to seed the soccer field twice. The first seeding had trouble establishing. It was the typical bluegrass seed mix. And we went with Valley Green Dark and Durable blend, which has more of the rye and fescue mix in there that can handle drought conditions. Seemed better for this site. And then also the clover that was introduced. It was a little patchy that first year, but by the second year it got thick and green. So I think the clover and then switching the seed blend was really successful for the field.
This is the basin.
Yeah, it's the stormwater basin with the outlet control structure. So this receives some of that stormwater coming off the drive and off the slope of the hill, as well as the roof water from the building that comes here. Again, this is densely vegetated and well established. And that's the emergency overflow for the drainage basin. So if we ever got a 500-year storm, help us all, then that's where the system is structured to be stabilized. There's another level spreader below that.
I think this was just showing the fence over there.
Yeah. One of the requirements is that we wrap the fence around the corner to help prevent balls from going in the wetlands. So that's what that is.
I already used deer fencing for that, or is that a different portion?
Yeah, we use deer fencing.
Got it.
This is looking towards the wetland.
Yeah, this is
Um,
looking
back
towards the
there.
wetlands. Yeah, below the school. And it's an area that they wanted to have an outdoor gathering area, but then discovered it's full of poison ivy, so no one goes in there. And this is where that stormwater basin outflows underneath the soccer field downslope towards the wetlands and the woods. And so this is our run out to a level spreader. And the level spreader is in this case is a concrete curb, but it's so lushly overgrown with vegetation, you have to move your foot around to kind of find it, but it's doing its job.
And is that the one you mentioned monitoring for being undermined or whatever?
No,
Northwest?
this is
Oh,
the
that's the other
one.
one.
This is the probably the carries the most flow on the project, and it's been working pretty well from the beginning. The other
Got
one was so this is to the south of the school. The other one was more on the north side of the school by the replication area.
Right. Okay.
This is looking from the wetlands towards the school. This is the vernal pool that was certified. I think that's all I got.
Okay, thanks. Anybody have any questions or I know Kristen's looking at the big 102-page document that we
I
got.
am, and I'm thinking about the BVW replication reporting. It's the data forms aren't US Army Corps data forms. It's just like a checklist, and it's not initial. It's just initialed. I'm not sure who completed these.
I did. I filled those out.
Luckily, it's well established, so outcome was good, at least.
And, while we were trying to get it established, anytime there was an issue, the school would call us out, and we'd go out and look at it with the contractor and try to figure out what we needed to do.
Yeah, it looks like the contractor redid a lot of things. And things
Mhm.
that weren't working, he came out and redid, or they came out and redid them. So,
Yeah, I think there were four times of working with that riprap and level spreader area.
And I remember, I don't know if it was every single time, but I remember you coming to us and, giving updates and getting approval for things
Yeah.
to do a little differently too.
mhm.
Were there special conditions, Travis?
Yeah. I
It's
had that.
it's sort of like it's like, I think it's before your reports. There's the special conditions are listed, I think. No, I kind of skimmed through it, and it was so long I don't remember exactly where they were.
Yeah, so we had a 13-page document that was this is in the OOC folder for the project um, with special conditions. It's just a description of the project. I mean, a lot of these are standard, 25-foot no disturb zone, required alter things. These are general conditions. Is that what it said? General conditions.
But there was some place in their report that
It was in their
listed the
report too.
condition, and then I don't know, Rachel's or whoever's response to yes, it
Yeah.
was done or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we put together a chart, a table
Yeah.
with each condition and the number that you assigned it and what
Yeah.
that stated, and then how we complied with that condition.
Mhm.
So that's in page 10 of the PDF.
Okay.
I mean, most of these are pretty boilerplate conditions for us, I think. This one talks about changes to the plan,
Mhm.
and it does say that it was reviewed and approved by the commission through NOI amendment. It was all prior to construction stuff. Seeding, soil disturbance, grading, landscaping. I think most of this is just boilerplate special conditions. I think we could stay here for an hour if we wanted to read every single one in
I think-
depth.
Yeah. I'm just reading the regular copy. One that stands out is stabilized slope shall be maintained as designed and constructed by the property owner of record, whether bioengineered or mechanically stabilized slopes. Maybe that's always been in there, but I don't know, that was an ongoing condition at the end.
Hmm.
Yeah, everything else looks pretty boilerplate. I think that has always been in there. I just didn't notice it.
And then the other thing is we did have we did sorry, there's the
Only, I thought the table with responses to all the conditions were great. The only thing that seemed a little underwhelming was the as-built, but
yeah, that was later
kind of
on.
it's kind of unclear.
Yeah,
Um,
can I talk about that? Is that
Sure.
Yeah, we reached out to the contractor multiple times asking for as-built, and this is all that we were able to get out of them for the project. So we've tried really hard. For the school to get an as-built for this
it'd be
independent,
enormous, yeah.
it'd be over $10,000 to the school, which they don't have money for.
Can you just focus it on jurisdictional areas? I mean, just areas jurisdictional to the commission? I mean, do we have like lat long ticks or anything?
There's text on here, but hard to read.
But are there XY?
They didn't give us a CAD file, they gave us a PDF.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just georeferenced to a 0 point. So you
Yeah, it
probably
needs to be
know.
georeferenced to like.
Yeah.
Not just outer space.
And Rachel, do you know if this plan shows, I don't think, are there any modifications that would affect the features of this plan? I just want to
Yeah, this
make
plan
sure that
reflects all of the stormwater updates that were
okay.
approved. So that green pipe, the blue outline is the footprint of the school, and that green pipe to the northwest of the school is what was part of that amendment.
Got
During
it.
construction, the head of school was wanting more outdoor flat level area for pre-K right next to the building. And the area where the green pipe was a swale in the original permit. And so that's what we came to you with an amendment and a proposal, and that was approved. We also did stormwater calculations for that to prove that we weren't increasing stormwater flows to the wetland area. So everything utility and stormwater wise on this is what was installed.
Got it. Yeah, I just want to make sure it reflected the changes.
Mhm.
Crazy that there's elevation, but not that long.
Mhm.
Can they put an aerial underlay and like georeference it to, I don't know, state plane feet or state plane meters or whatever they want to use? So that it's not just.
Yeah, I think the challenge is that we can't seem to get anything more out of them. I mean, we could underlay for you as reference, but it wouldn't be it would be more of illustrative, I would think.
Yeah, you would, yeah, I know what you mean. You'd take telephone poles and stick them together and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
reference it yourself. Yeah, I get it.
Align
Yeah, I
it.
was saying we could do that.
But it does show the limit of work boundary that was on the permit drawings and was approved. So that gray outline is the limit of grading, the limit of work line, where they put the barriers up and the markers up, that they didn't go beyond.
And Rachel, we have updated plans from you all, right? Well, I mean, I know we do, but that's another check, I guess, is that you've updated your plans all along and they're in here, correct?
Yeah, they're the plans that were in the amended submission.
Right.
There haven't been any changes since then.
I was also going to show the request for certificate of compliance form filled out. Yeah. I guess from the commission, are there anything else to look at or go over? Mitch, I don't know if you had anything else. I guess what I'm asking is, do you feel like you have enough to vote, or is there anything else we need to talk about?
I'll just go on record and say that I was very impressed with the project and the representative of the applicant throughout the process. But I am underwhelmed with the as-bills, and I'm not sure why Ward Smith didn't do the post construction wetland replication inspections on Army Corps data forms. But that's all I'll say about that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it looks great. The way everything turned out. I don't have any particular concerns. I don't know if in the past we've gone over ongoing conditions, but I think we've done that a bunch of times with the applicant here. So I don't know if anybody thinks that's useful. Maybe we could do that, but
Yeah, we should at least, if we motion to issue a certificate of compliance, we should mention, we should reference these ongoing conditions.
mhm.
86 through 92. Does anyone want to make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to issue a certificate of compliance for 739 Berniston Road, with a note that there are ongoing conditions that'll be complied with, numbered 86 through 92 on the order of conditions.
I think there's a couple more. I think it's
Oh,
there's
Was there more?
64 and 84 are ongoing.
Okay.
Mhm.
Also including 64 and 84, and looks like 84 and beyond. Or 82 beyond.
Maybe I'm looking at something else.
No, yeah, 84 is here, and
Oh, okay, sorry.
then there's a
Yep.
break, and then 85 is not continuing.
All right. So just to clarify, it's 64, 84, and then 86 and beyond for ongoing conditions.
Okay.
Also, second.
Okay. A motion to issue a certificate of compliance with the ongoing conditions as stated. Any other discussion before we vote on that? Okay.
I guess I would just say in the future, maybe we could condition these a little bit more carefully for the wetland replication, because it looks like there's nothing we can really say about this. They followed our orders, but
Yeah, I was going to say,
there
I
are
don't
new
know if it called
BVW
it out.
replication replication guidelines as of 2022 that maybe just going forward, we should think about updating our boilerplate. But that's a commission issue, not an applicant issue. So no, not really anything about this application.
Okay. All right, hearing nothing else, we'll vote to issue a certificate of compliance. Erica,
Aye.
Kristen,
Aye.
Fletcher.
All right.
All right, and I am an aye. So certificate of compliance will be issued. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, now I have to figure out what I did with my agenda. Okay, so next on the agenda, I have outreach to fill Conservation Commission seat vacancy. I don't know if anyone has any updates on that. I haven't heard from anyone I've reached out to. I think Joan might be here, maybe interested. I don't know.
I think
Yes,
that's-
I am.
Hi, Joan. Awesome
hi.
that you're here. I just before, because I want to give you time, I just want to say I reached out to FERCog, spoke with Allison there, who I guess, Travis, you had spoken with them a couple months ago.
Mm.
And we kind of like did a little brainstorming as to places she might do some outreach in her day to day. And she talked about potentially putting it on their kind of social media, or talking about it in community outreach groups, which sounded great. She did ask maybe for a just a flyer of some kind or whatever. So I've been talking with her about that, but I might try to put one together and see what you all think. But that's the only update I had. So
Okay, thanks. Yeah, Joan, I don't know if you want to talk about yourself.
Sure. Yeah, I used to be on the Conservation Commission. I think I got off in 2007 because of the Home Depot mess up. And so Steve Walk and I were on it, and then Home Depot wanted to build, and there's a stream back there, and there was all this politics about with the mayor. And so she chose to not renew me. So anyway, I'm a retired lawyer and a CPA. I have a degree in natural resources. And I saw you guys had a vacancy. So I guess my questions for you is, does everyone do site visits, or does anybody do site visits, or?
I would say a lot of site visits Mitch is doing, but then he'll invite us, and sometimes it'll be a couple of us, or it just depends on who's available.
So you don't make an effort to try and get everybody to go?
It's
do.
been difficult. We
Yeah.
make an effort, but it's difficult. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So on that one order that you agreed to extend, if there was a violation, why didn't you want a correction in that order? Why didn't you amend the order for the violation?
I guess I
But-
thought that was a Mitch, did you look into that more? I thought that was a violation that had been fixed, like there was a violation, but it was already responded to.
That may be the case. He didn't, when I talked to Chris, it didn't seem like he thought that. Or at least he wasn't aware that it did get fixed. I just saw the folder in there. I wanted to address it. But to me, it seemed like either way it was, maybe it would come up again during the certificate of compliance, but I felt like, I don't know, why hold them up for, it's not related to this project.
Right, an enforcement order can still be issued whether or not the orders of conditions are expired or extended.
It just seemed like it might have made sense to deal with it
Yeah,
as part of their extension. It's just my thought.
yeah. No, that's good input. This is why we need a lawyer on on the commission.
Well, and also like, for the as-built, wouldn't that have been part of their original contract? Like, why didn't they hold funds back?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
I mean,
as-built,
we've had very little compliance with as-builts, and we generally haven't pushed it. Mainly because when it's come up, we've sort of been satisfied by, monitoring and consulted plans and the plans that did exist from the contractors. But that's an ongoing issue that we're trying to call out more often. I mean, it was at first completely ignored, and then we started to pick up on it, and now we're getting a bit of compliance. But as you see there, yeah, people aren't really taking it all that seriously, and it's on our radar to really try to hold people to it more often.
I will also say that their wetland replication reports were very weak. I mean, they don't meet the current standards for the post wetland replication. Our special conditions weren't clear enough, and going
Right.
forward, I suggest we make those more clear and not just use boilerplate. But we had no soil profiles, we had no indications on hydrology, we had no species list. It was not completed by a wetland scientist. It was a landscape architect that did the checklist. I think we should be more clear with how we want to have replication areas reported in the future. I tried to go through those special conditions and see like what holes I could poke in that, but our conditions weren't really that clear.
It's pretty vague, yeah.
So do you guys meet before the meet? I mean, when we did it, of course, it was pre-Zoom. We would talk about a lot of things before the meetings actually started. Some of our background issues that, like you guys, I know everybody uses Zoom, and, I'm not against it totally, but I feel like you don't really get together to look at things together. I mean, it's more stilted. It's just harder.
Mhm.
I
and
will
I
say
think-
that so I'm a consultant, Joan, and I meet with other conservation commissions for work very frequently, and other commissions do things a little bit differently than the Greenfield Commission. So take Amherst, for example, they only meet Zoom, but they give all their commissioners a packet before the meeting, and the commissioners have time to review this, hard copy packet or electronic packet, however. Hadley is in person, Sturbridge is in person. Greenfield, I don't know, Travis, you can probably explain this a little bit better because you organize us, you're our chair, but we're given electronic information and it's our responsibility to go through it. And I think due to public open meeting laws, we don't discuss hearing information outside of hearings, but we're given the information beforehand.
We can discuss, we just can't discuss it as a quorum, I believe. Isn't that right? Travis, or am I
Well,
getting
Yeah,
that
I mean-
wrong?
If you were doing site visits, you could discuss things as a group.
And we do that, particularly for like more involved projects.
Mhm.
Yeah. I guess the other thing is though, even during a site visit, like you're only really supposed to discuss, exactly what you're talking about on the site visit, and not really like, I don't know, going over other aspects of the project. I don't that's always been like a weird fine line to me with open meeting law, like where you're crossing into a violation with discussing things with a quorum outside of an open meeting. I think that can be tricky. I don't know.
I think getting paper documents, a couple days in advance, at least for me personally, would be really helpful, because then you would know what to talk about. It'd give you time.
Yeah. And I will say, yeah, I will say Mitch, he puts together an email that he sends out multiple days before the meeting with links to all the project folders on a shared Google Drive and has all the documents in there. So we don't have a physical copy, but we do have, the digital copies to review.
Which I personally prefer because,
Yeah.
let's go green.
And you can
Yeah,
word
just Joan,
search.
we had all the documents that you saw on tonight's meeting, we had a week ago.
Oh, okay. So you have plenty of time to look at stuff.
Mhm.
And we had talked about getting rid of the hard copies even before the pandemic. We had been talking about just getting digital stuff. So
Yeah, we were talking about buying iPads and everyone would have an iPad
Right.
with digital
Mhm.
files on.
That
So have
was-
you
Yeah,
guys all been,
the days of
I don't-
7 hard
I don't
copies are
condone-
over.
I don't condone that, but that was when we were trying to we were talking about how it would work in person. I think that was a big part of it. And just to get back to your comment, Joan, about meeting in person versus Zoom, the big challenge for in person, at least last time we talked about it, was that without getting rid of the Zoom option, I believe in person would have to be hybrid. And hybrid in-person meetings are incredibly difficult in my experience, but I guess I don't have a ton of it. But so I think, I don't know, Kristen, if the commissions you're talking about were hybrid or if they went to fully in person. But the
Yeah, so like the two examples that I gave were Sturbridge and Hadley, and they're both hybrid. And in order to be hybrid, you really need the OWL speaker because it's
Mhm.
hard to pick up, if your whole commission is in person, and there's an applicant virtual, you need to be able to hear all of the speakers. So you need to have a really good speaker. So I think it's like an OWL speaker, and then you need to have a projector, screen, and a laptop in the meeting room. So if that's town hall or wherever, and then you still have to have the Zoom link. So I think that the only thing that we would really be missing would be the OWL and the projector and the laptop, which I think we have none of right now, right?
well,
Yeah.
yeah, the town has those things, but not in a place where we meet.
Oh,
Yeah. I was gonna say the city does have like two two hybrid capable meeting rooms, but with all the boards and commissions, that's not enough. And they're gonna be adding one more at the library, but in the like over the past, I don't know, year and a half or something, we've uh asked the city like for more hybrid capability or and it hasn't really happened. I know we've had Mitch like contact like IT department or like all these different
Yeah.
people and like, can we buy our own technology? And
Yeah, I tried too, and I've got zero response from an IT person in the town, and I've tried multiple times. I had much better luck going to the cable station, the local station there. But yeah, if meeting at the library is a possibility, that could be pretty great.
I think there's going to be a lot of demand for that.
Yeah.
I love meeting remote personally. I will just go on record saying that. I love being able to I've got 3 monitors. I can do my stream stats. I can double check whether a site's in bordering land subject to flooding or riverfront area. I like being able to pull up their permit on one screen and do a little desktop assessment on another screen while Zoom is in the middle. I don't know. It is greener. We're not printing all this stuff on paper and having people present on an easel with a pointer, and people aren't driving, and it's more accessible. People who maybe don't get out of the house are able to join meetings if they're public. I mean, nothing against hybrid, because that would still be all inclusive, but personally, I like having my 3 screens and being able to multitask when we're reviewing an application, but that's just my process.
I think
What
there are pros and
questions?
cons. Go
What
ahead.
questions do you guys have for me?
I'm sorry, you said you responded, you saw like a vacancy, essentially?
Well, I was talking to your agent. Mainly, I'm really interested in the Griswold Conservation Area
Oh, nice.
because it really needs a lot of work.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when I was on the board, we had it mowed, for example, every year. And, it was logged. And like that bridge in there is really somebody's
Mhm.
going to get hurt.
Yeah.
And so I've been kind of bugging him about that all summer. And so that's one area that really interests me. I was on it when it was originally marked.
Mm.
And, it's a great site. It's a great park, and a lot of people use it.
Yeah.
And it's really been let go. And it's kind of sad.
Yeah, we've been I don't know, starting like a year and a half ago, we kind of tried to get back into the land management part of Conservation Commission work more, and we'd gone back and forth a lot about Griswold and like what we didn't even like up until like a couple of years ago, we didn't even know like what our funding, like what funds we had available and where they were and how to use them. And so we've been kind of like rebuilding, I think, and like figuring those things out. So
I mean, all the logging money from that property belongs to that property. I mean, it's set up in the original agreement.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, is there been an accounting of the logging money?
That money is still there. And so we were looking at, how does that get used? And, we have to like go to city council, and then city council has to.
I don't think you do have to go to city council for that. You're in charge of that money.
I think for that one we do, but then there's also the conservation fund, which we don't have to.
We had it mowed every year just by knowing there was enough money in there. We didn't have to ask anybody.
So Joan, I have a couple questions for you. So
Yep.
you said you're a retired attorney and you have a background in natural resources. Do you have any experience with like these real estate conservation restrictions and deed restrictions and that kind of thing? Is that how you know so much about Griswold?
I know about Griswold because I used to know Mr. Griswold.
Oh.
And I walk there almost 3 times a week.
Me too. I haven't seen you.
And I was there when I did the original trail markings. And also when we were on the board, Mr. Griswold was very clear that the money from the logging, and it was supposed to be in a document, you'll probably find it, was totally under the Conservation Commission control.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, and I just want to add to what Travis said, or just more context is, we've had plenty of purely Wetland Act related permitting and stuff to do that's consumed a lot of our time. As we had a slightly larger commission, we were again getting into the natural resource management aspect of things, and we've since thinned out a bit, but we did some good monitoring on Griswold, and we have action items, and we looked into the money aspect, and we have some documentation of that. So we've taken steps. It's just the implementation of what we discovered is not yet. We haven't found the time to do that, but that stuff is in the works. And again, I think with more capacity, that allows to do that, because whether we like it or not, I think the permitting really consumes. It's like the front and center part, and the rest, you have to do as much as you can.
Just because the permitting is like legal requirements to respond within a certain number of days.
Yeah.
So it gets moved to the front of the
But
line.
if somebody gets hurt on that bridge, you're gonna have a big problem.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's true. I just walked there 2 days ago and there is a missing board and it is weak. And we lost our nest box over the winter. So
Is it
we
that
still-
bridge as you start up the hill?
it's
After
the
the
long one.
fields?
The long
The
one.
long-
Yeah, the first one that
Yeah,
you
I think
cross
I
that
could
little
picture it,
stream at the beginning is not bad, but the long one is the one that there's like some spongy boards and some missing
Yep.
boards.
Got it.
It's all really
Yeah.
slimy. You know, you shouldn't walk on it if it's wet.
By kind of the nest box, actually.
Hmm.
Right before, so I think the trail looks like a lollipop. It's like a stick and then a loop. It's like right before you get to the loop part at the end of the stick part,
Hmm.
if that makes sense.
And we did reach out to
Boy
local
Scouts.
Boy
They-
Scout troops
oh.
and
They said they
you know,
were
Lincoln Fish.
interested in helping like build bridges and stuff, and then we kept talking to them and talking to them, and then
Yeah.
then we weren't getting anything back.
Yeah.
So
not,
What
not to
happened?
sound like we're throwing out excuses here, but the
That's fine.
pandemic.
that's how it's gone.
No,
That's how
no, I
it's
was going to
gone.
say that all this happened as like the pandemic was full swing / winding down. So I think I'm saying that in relation to the outreach we did. I think it was just hard to get actual commitments. I'm hoping that's going to get better, but
Well, I mean, just having you hire somebody to mow it every year, that's a pretty
oh yeah, sorry, I was
that's
talking about
basic.
yeah, it's like the bridge building and stuff was what I was thinking of when I said that. But yeah, you're right, the maintenance could for sure be scheduled.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you're definitely interested in the conservation aspect. Are you, and it sounds like you are, knowledgeable about the Wetlands Protection Act?
It's been a while, you know, since I've had to study it. Do you guys go once a year for a seminar or something? We used to go every year.
Sometimes. Yeah, there's one coming up.
Nice.
Yeah, there's one coming up in like a couple weeks, I think. But yeah, I haven't gone. I think I went last year, the year before that. But
So
yeah.
you guys don't go as a group.
Mm-mm.
No,
I go to
no.
MACC Winter Conference every year, and I've had the same job for 17 and a half years. But I'm a consultant. I do
You
wetlands
obviously
permitting for work.
you obviously know it, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's your job, so you don't really need to,
Yeah.
you know, get updated.
Mhm.
But yeah, we
I
have
mean, go
we
ahead.
get reimbursed by the town to go to the conference. So
Yeah.
Yeah. And they do, and now that Mark Stinson's back at Western DEP, he does really fun free webinars every now and then, like a kind of happy hour, 5 o'clock, just really casual, I don't know, informational seminars, webinars, that kind of thing. Just really casual stuff, you know, like bank versus mean annual high water, or you know, agricultural exemptions, whatever.
Mhm.
Riverfront area, gosh, that alone could take a year.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, there's other stuff too besides MACC. Staying involved.
And this doesn't really flow in the conversation, but I guess I just wanted to point out that, you know, we are down one member right now, and Fletcher, I don't, when do you know when your last meeting is?
I
Probably.
I would have updated you for sure.
Yeah.
No, I'm still hanging in here. My housing plans fell through, most recent one, so I'm not back to square one, but I'm continuing to look. So when I have a date, I'll for sure give you a heads up, but definitely be here through October, like I said. So.
Okay. So yeah,
So you're moving.
then we'd be down to 3.
Yeah, I'm trying to move closer to school. I'm in school at Clark in Worcester right now, and luckily I have a sort of a second home, not my home, but I have a second place to stay that's closer. But I still spend a lot of time in Greenfield, and it's hard. It's far. So yeah.
And that's how we lost our other member too. She moved out of Greenfield.
Oh,
So
I'm not going to move anywhere anytime soon. Yeah, I've lived here since 1990, so
Nice.
Oh, good.
That'd be a great perspective to have. I'll tell you that.
Absolutely.
You guys have
I
other
guess,
questions?
well, one other thing I was going to add, I'm guessing you probably know Marie Francoise.
Yeah, we're really
Since,
good friends.
yeah, she has said that she may be interested in joining the Conservation Commission.
That'd be good because she's retiring in
Yeah,
January or December.
yeah. So
She would be really good.
she said maybe next year. So
Needle her, Joan. We need help. Needle her.
Maybe if we could both join. I mean, are you
There you
allowed to
go.
have more members? Is
Uh,
there a max? There's
so
not a max.
you can have 5 members and then well, they're not alternates. They're I forget what the word. It's not alternate, but it's something else. But those people can't vote. So only 5 people can vote, and then
Okay.
the other ones would just be there and they could talk, but they couldn't vote. But
That was
Fletcher's going to be
something-
gone in like a month,
Right.
so
Well,
But that
it
was-
takes a while.
Yeah.
it'd also be nice to get Steve Walk to come back. He's retired.
That would be good
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. You
But
just
I will
start-
say, oh, sorry, I was just gonna say, I do like that you brought up the sort of getting on the same page about parts of the permitting and stuff, or the whatever issue we're dealing with. Like I said, we do that at site visits. I think we call each other around, but I'd like to find out what the full extent of how that could work is, and do more of it for sure. So
Yeah,
if that's
you have
something
to be-
you're
have to be
going to bring
careful.
previous experience in, then that would be great.
Mm.
I mean, it's not so much that you want to go behind the applicant's back, but
No,
if there's
I-
like general questions about the whole not just the whole project, but in general, what do we do in this kind of project, which isn't specific to this project? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And if you could like talk about that as a group.
Yep.
For example, this thing about as-built. I mean, that covers a lot of different projects.
Mhm.
And how are we going to make that more enforceable or something?
Yep.
What to think about.
I think Mitch has been
Um,
doing. Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
No, that's, I'm only hesitant because I just feel like site visits are such an important part of the whole project.
Yeah.
And I think it's too bad that somehow that it can't happen with at least most people,
Well, what's the challenge is happening in all at once. I think we do, especially for the larger projects, we get out there. It's just sometimes it's one person goes out one day, maybe with Mitch, another person goes out another day. Me, if I'm back in town on the weekend, I go then. But I think it'd be great if it was more all together again. And I agree about the importance of it.
And sometimes
Maybe
it's
if we
hard.
had a new commission member that was able to crack the whip and shame us into all joining us together.
Yep.
I mean, I
Well-
confess, I haven't been on that many. There was one on the agenda this evening that I did attend back when it was an ANRAD. But we're not all retired. But maybe if we had somebody who could kind of smack us into shape, Joan.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't retired when I was on it before.
Yeah.
See, you're already smacking us into shape.
I had my own
Yeah.
business. I was a lawyer, but we all worked. All of us were working, but we meet on Saturdays or Sundays or after work.
Ah, that's the ticket.
I mean, you
That's the
kind of
ticket.
have to, don't you, if you work all week? What are you going to do? Especially when it's
Yeah.
dark, 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Exactly. Saturdays. We don't do an awful lot of Saturday site inspections. I don't know, Mitch, what your schedule is, if that's even a possibility, but
I mean, the agent doesn't always have to be there. It can
Yeah, I
be
mean, I don't mind scheduling it for Saturday. I might not be able to go to all of them, just because I'm an hour away. But if it's better for you guys, I don't mind.
Yeah,
I
and
just
then
think the more people that go, the better.
yeah, and then the ones,
Agreed.
like for an NOI, we do site visits with the applicant, so that's where some of the scheduling comes in too.
But applicants will show up. If they want something,
Mm.
they're going to show up when you're available
Mm.
because it's really important for them. I mean, you have to appreciate that you're giving them something important. You know, I mean, you don't
That's
want to
true.
be mean or anything, but you know, they're asking for an exception to something, or they're asking to get something built, and you know, it's their job to tell you guys how they're going to do a good job.
Mhm.
That's true. As a consultant, again, when an agent tells me these are the days they're available, as a representative of an applicant, those are the days that I make myself available.
Right,
So
right.
it's true. You're right. It's
Yeah.
true.
And a lot of people work Saturday mornings. It's not. I don't know. These are just my philosophies that I found important when I was on it.
Yeah.
So how-
I guess the other thing I would add to that is that most of us haven't been on the Conservation Commission very long.
Oh, you haven't.
No, I think
Except for
Eric-
Erica.
Yeah, Erica's been here. How many
Been
years have
here.
you been on there, Erica?
I'm not sure, like 2017, 16.
Yeah, a long time.
That's a long time.
And then
What was I, 2 years after you, Erica? Or
Yeah, something like that. I think
Three-
Rachel was in
3 years maybe?
between, and then you
Yeah.
were next. And
yeah,
Yeah.
you were 2019 or something, and then I was like late 2019, and
Mm.
I'm the
Kristen-
newest. That was December 2020, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, that's a while, guys. I think it's not like you've only been there a year.
Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
COVID was a
Yeah.
bit of a weird time
Yeah,
though, for that.
kind of.
I wouldn't say we got a lot of, you know, robust experience during COVID with, you know, permitting, but
Yeah.
it was there. It was happening. It was trickling in.
So back to your question about easements and stuff. I mean, I did some as a lawyer.
But
There's so many IRS problems with them, but
Mm.
Yeah, I used
Yeah.
to. I drafted easements and stuff, so
oh yeah, that's good.
I'm aware of some of the legal, you know, challenges you're talking about. But I imagine you have a good eye for any of those documents.
Yeah, I can probably read them anyway.
Mhm.
Well, I guess I would be interested in joining if we're going to make more effort to do site visits. I just feel like that's so important. And plus, it's a time when we get to know each other.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, you don't really get to know people on a Zoom meeting.
Yeah.
Well, I can commit if we have overlap time. I'm there, but
Yeah. No, I mean, I definitely think that's a good it's a good way to start pushing us in the right direction to showing up to more site visits.
Yeah, because then you really on the ground, you know what they're talking about.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's a big part of what you're doing, right? Is actually looking around, and it's just not supposed to be a paper job.
Yeah.
Certainly
Nope.
for an application that's looking for confirmation on a wetland line, if we don't have a third party review, you know, we need to have a wetland scientist out there to kind of look
Oh,
at
you
it.
do.
But if it's big, I think that would prompt a third party review. And since I started on the commission, I don't think we've had any third party reviews. And personally, I think we should ask for that more often. If there's a big application, we haven't seen a whole lot of those since I started, but that's on our right that we, you know, certainly have the opportunity to ask for that.
yeah, we did ask, and I think the applicant
Oh, that one.
bailed
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, I think they
Yeah.
withdrew or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
who
they
pays
we
would,
did a lot of site visiting.
the
on that
applicant
one.
pays for it.
Yep.
The
Yeah.
applicant pays for it. But if it's a complicated, huge wetland delineation, or even if it's just a complicated small delineation and it's going to result in wetland impacts, you know, it's not unheard of at all to ask for a third party review.
So you
know,
don't really,
we're
are you saying
volunteers.
you don't trust the wetland specialist?
Well, I'm just saying we're volunteers. It's not our
Right.
job to review a wetland line and approve a wetland line ourselves. Like, you know,
Yeah.
we do have wetland scientists on the commission, but it's not our job to.
No, I meant but when you go out with the applicant's wetland specialist, do they show up at site visits?
Sometimes,
Sometimes.
hopefully,
Not too long.
We-
Yeah, sometimes.
if
We've
they
had
have one.
Yeah, we've had a great variety of varying levels of competence depending on who they hire, sort of how familiar and chummy they are.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
it's, but again, yeah, I think the third party review can extend beyond just delineation and, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, some of the structural stuff and the
Stormwater.
and the geoengineering and stuff like that is can be overwhelming.
Yeah, I'm not a stormwater engineer. I don't know how to read that 350-page HydroCAD report. I don't even want to read
Right.
it. I don't have
Right.
time to read it. I'd rather have a third party review, just pick out the highlights for us.
Yeah.
Fortunately, we've got Mark Stinson at DEP, and he's really good at providing comments. And I will
Yep.
say this, the rest of the state of Massachusetts, their circuit riders don't provide comment letters on applications. We're really lucky to be in Western Mass. I'm really lucky to have him because he provides very thoughtful comments, and he actually reviews notices of intent. So,
Yeah, that's good.
very fortunate.
You guys have other questions?
Who was the mayor when you didn't get?
4G. I knew it. I moved into Greenfield
gonna
in
say it must have been.
2005.
Were they
She's
also
Well, when
a
I
real
first
estate
started,
agent or no?
what?
Were they also a real estate agent, as some of our more recent mayors have been?
4G?
Yeah.
You know,
No.
and before Home Depot, we were pretty apolitical.
Well,
It
you
was
were a
only
town too. You weren't a city yet, right?
we were a town, yeah, we were a
Yeah.
town. And then the select board actually is who appointed me, and then we got the mayor. So I guess when the mayor came in, we became a city. I can't remember the exact.
Yeah,
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 that was
that's what
right around
happens.
when I moved here, around 2005, 2006, around there. I remember hearing about that in the Walmart, the drama with the
Mhm.
Walmart.
Yeah, the
Mhm.
Walmart. But that was more the Indian stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There weren't
Who-
really wetlands on that property.
Who was your agent then? Was that Aaron Jack?
No, Eric. I think his brother is still.
Oh, Alan.
Alan,
Alan?
Eric, and Cora.
Okay.
He was good. So, how is it a 3-year appointment?
Well,
Did
we'll
it-
be finishing out
think-
Rachel's term, right?
Oh,
Yeah, I
Maybe.
think first you would finish the term that you're appointed to, and then you would get
How long would that
reelected.
Hmm.
I'd have to look at
Maybe, if I'm not too forceful.
it.
I mean, I guess I'll tell you my philosophy about wetlands
let's
is
see.
that it's really good to work with applicants, and that you pretty much want every project to go through, but they might just have to make some changes. And that's how we ran it. And we never turned anybody down.
Yeah, I think that's generally how it's been going here
Yeah.
too.
I don't think we've tried to work with them, and we've had a couple of people leave because they didn't want to make the changes, but
Yeah.
I think we've tried to work with everybody, basically.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that would be good.
Yeah.
I
mean,
will
they
say
do
though,
have-
the rules are getting stricter and commissions are getting smarter, and it's not the way it used to be. I mean, I've been in consulting for over 17 years, and I can tell you it's used to be different than it is today.
Well,
It's tougher. It's tougher now to get stuff passed by commissions. There's a standard and a higher quality deliverable that's expected by applicants. And, I'm not always seeing it in Greenfields. And it's, as a commissioner, sometimes a little bit difficult for me to say, like that wetland replication report was so weak. I mean, I would be crucified for that at work.
The wetland
well,
was
if it
nice.
doesn't
though.
comply with the requirements, then you shouldn't have allowed it.
It didn't say it in our special conditions, though. It wasn't very
Yeah.
clear. So that was where we were hamstrung. So I think going forward, we should be more careful with that. But just saying globally, I think that Greenfield's interesting because we do have quite a range of applicants. There are still handwritten notices of intent that we see, and they're complicated. They're not, simple single family homeowner. Not everyone's hiring a consulting firm to represent them. So it's
We
difficult
tend to get hand-drawn maps and things. And,
Yep.
you know,
Yep. So, how do you hold those people to the same standard as somebody that's like, a huge engineering consulting firm? It's difficult.
Well, it depends on the project, right? I mean, whether you tell them they need to go get a wetland scientist, or you really
Absolutely.
need to get a map, or maybe this is just fine.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
which also depends on the resource in question, which we also have a large variety of here.
Yep.
mhm.
Yeah. Trying to explain riverfront redevelopment standards, performance standards to somebody who is not a consultant or an engineer is challenging.
That's your job though, right?
So I guess if you're interested in joining the commission, so I mean, you have to apply to the mayor, and she has to appoint you. So, but
I think they,
go ahead.
I think your agent said that you guys could make a
Recommendation.
recommendation to the mayor.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
what I was gonna say. We could like write a recommendation letter or something.
So back to how long is the time period I'd be taking over?
So
Rachel's term ended.
Oh, it did
Oh.
end
It
already?
expired in June.
Okay.
Oh.
So I guess it would be a new 3-year term.
If,
I mean,
if you
you could
joined
leave,
before
you can leave
I
whenever
left.
you want, but
Well, I know.
technically.
No. I think I'm gonna like listen to one more hearing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because I really want to make sure, to me, it's a big commitment, and I
Yeah.
tend to like to do a good job.
Mhm.
I think
And
I sat in on like four or 5 meetings.
Oh,
before
yeah.
Yeah, I
joined.
did.
At
I
least.
did.
Yeah.
well, I
And
mean,
this probably wasn't a great. I was gonna say this wasn't a great meeting because we had so many continuations and stuff.
yeah, and like how many do you allow? I mean, that's another thing.
What do you mean?
Well,
Yeah, we've had some late meetings and we've had special meetings too. I mean, there was a time, I think it maybe was even last fall, where we were doing special meetings and meetings until like 11 o'clock at night. Or was that 2 years ago? There was a time where we were,
It
That
was
was just
long.
yeah.
multiple
Late
big
meetings.
projects. Yeah.
And the special meetings were mostly because of that, the
Ridge
ridge.
Lane.
Yeah.
That's been our political moment, was getting the mayor to not auction off that Stone Ridge Lane parcel.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, the one
Mhm.
thing fun about being on the commission is that you learn a lot about what's going on in town,
It's true.
Definitely.
and you go places you didn't even know existed.
Yeah.
I mean, my kid went to so many site visits.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, let's leave it at that.
Sure.
I'll come in. I'll listen to your next meeting, and you guys can think about if you have other questions for me.
Mhm.
Okay.
And I'll talk to Marie Francoise.
Okay.
Maybe we can get her to just listen in.
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She actually used to be my supervisor. So that's how I know.
Oh,
her.
really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Steve Walk and Marie Francoise were married.
Yeah.
So Steve, that's how I met Marie Francoise, through Steve.
Yeah.
And he'd be great to get back on. He could talk people into anything.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
I don't know him personally, so I haven't contacted him.
We couldn't have them both on the board, but
Well, it would be nice to have, even, I forget if they're called alternates too, or just non-voting members, but that would be great. Shutesbury, for example, the Shutesbury Conservation Commission has Janice Stone, and I don't know, Joan, if you know Janice Stone. She used to be the agent in South Hadley and also Hadley, and they had some political drama, and she ended up being let go, and then the whole commission kind of quit in protest. And now she's a non-voting member in Shutesbury, and she gives the commission amazing advice. Because she's got decades of experience as an agent, so she knows what she's talking about. So she just sits in on their hearings via Zoom and, asks an applicant a question here or there. And it's just like, the commission is so grateful for her expertise and experience. So, even if somebody that we've got a full board, which there's no guarantee it will stay that way for very long. they're experienced and they're willing to just kind of pop in every now and then, that'd be great.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's always so helpful to have people who know things, you know,
Mhm.
be willing to ask. I mean, I can ask really stupid questions. I have no problem with that. You know, I mean, the way you find things out is by asking questions,
Mhm.
Yeah.
in my experience.
Mhm.
But I did bankruptcy for a living, so let me tell you, you have to ask questions.
Mm,
And
mhm.
but my brother worked for EPA for a long time, and now he works for the Environmental Defense Fund. My other brother worked for EPA. Somehow we're all like interested in environment
Mm.
And legal stuff.
and legal stuff. Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. Okay, so
Cool.
I'll come to the next meeting and I'll make my comments later as to why you guys didn't do something.
Okay.
And,
Sounds
I
good.
appreciate it.
yeah, I mean, you know, you can always tell me to be quiet.
Well, I mean, for like, if one of those public hearings actually happens, there'll be a public comment period.
Mm.
So feel
And
free to
that-
speak up then.
Mm.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, it's been good to listen to you guys and, you know, start thinking about whether I want to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Thanks for your interest.
Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna say thanks for even being interested.
Yeah, we got to get that conservation area mode, Griswold,
Mm,
especially with all the ticks.
mm.
Yeah.
Yep. I found one on my bed last night from Griswold.
Really?
Oh man.
I had
I
one
haven't
on
seen
my
a tick in a
dogs.
while this season.
Yeah, they've just started coming back, I think.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure I'll see you at Griswold one of these days, Joan. I don't know how I haven't seen you yet. I'm there all the time. Ever
Okay.
since
Do you have a dog that you bring, or
I do. Yeah.
so do I? I have a
Yeah.
little.
That's why it's a great spot to bring your dog off leash.
It
and
is. Yeah,
Right down the street and nobody goes there. So it's perfect.
it's perfect. It
Well,
is.
I hope to see you out there and I hope to see you next week or 2 weeks from now. And I hope you'll join us.
Okay, I'll definitely come back and listen to another meeting, and then we can go from there.
Sounds
Okay.
good. Good to
Thanks.
meet you.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right.
Let's see if we have anything else on our agenda tonight. Were there any, Mitch, do you know if there were any enforcement updates or
Nope, no updates.
no, nothing on the active order of conditions and updates?
No.
Okay. I guess that's the end of our agenda then.
Really?
Yeah.
Early
Would
meeting.
you
I
like it to be
always-
one?
Not that early.
I'll motion to adjourn then.
I'll second that.
Second.
My motion adjourned, seconded by Fletcher. All those in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, that's everybody. All right, we're adjourned at 8:08 p.m.